Hello, pulpits. I'm back from my business trip to New Orleans, and as you've probably come to expect from the channel, more Call of Warhammer multiplayer content coming your way this evening. I'm playing the beta version of the Beginning of the End Times mod, which features Bretonnia as a complete and playable faction in custom battle and campaign. Now when I say it's complete, it's important to note they are still missing a few things. No Prophetess, no Pegasus Knights, obviously no lords or special characters, but for all intents and purposes they do what Bretonnia is meant to do, which is field a fantastic selection of heavy cavalry, including Grail Knights, and very good archers and intimidating siege equipment in the form of Trebuchets. Got some questing knights in the back here, some knights errant, lots of heavy cavalry on the field as you would expect, and we no longer have to pull the Call of Warhammer 1.6 shenanigans, where we play as Reichland and field a bunch of Bretonnian mercenary units. Across the way from me, playing against Kislev, commanded by Gojira, Sargard up front riding polar bears. I love Kislev. Streltsy gunners up front. Kvasniks, some Kossars, which are archers that use two-handed axes in melee. The Griffon Legion, very fast like cavalry, and my Trebuchets are going to make the Kislevites pay for every inch of ground they try to cover to get into melee. So at the beginning of the battle, I didn't want to deploy right across from him in the normal. Oh, look at that shot! In the normal deployment zone, because I was expecting a gun line of Streltsy and they would have eviscerated me as soon as we hit play. So I deployed further back, and I'm going to make him come to me with those Trebuchets. And he wants to take a cav fight, which I'm not sure you want to do against Bretonnia. Griffon Legion charging right into some Knights of the Realm and my questing knights. Questing knights are extremely good in this mod with those great swords. They can do a lot of damage on the charge, and they also sometimes spaz out in combat, and their animation goes off like crazy, and they can kill a bunch of guys really quickly, faster than even Knights Errant or Knights of the Realm. So questing knights very good in this mod. Same thing with the Sargard and with the Sons of Ursun. The two-handed sword cavalry units can just do so much damage, and these Knights Errant are going to get butchered by his Sons of Ursun in melee. Nice charge there from the Knights Errant, but it's not going to matter. They have 2 HP, and look at them spazzing out right there. They're going to cut through my Knights Errant in seconds. Charge up the center from a Knights of the Realm, going to take out a unit of skirmishers, and I'm going to talk about Trebuchets for a second here. So they've gotten a huge upgrade in this mod compared to Medieval 2. Each unit actually has 4 catapults instead of 2, and their fire rate definitely seems to be increased, so they honestly might be the strongest artillery piece I've seen in Call of Warhammer, which is saying a lot. They are doing a ton of damage to the Kislev main line. Some more Knights of the Realm going to get a downhill charge into the Sargard. Gojira's going to miss his charge there, and that's going to hurt him in melee. Sargard are very tanky, multiple HP unit, but Knights of the Realm are a very good cav unit as well, so that engagement is going to be pretty even over there, and I've got some questing knights moving into a flanking position, hopefully going to get a rear charge off into some of his bear cavalry. And I know that you guys absolutely love that unit. I was really glad to be able to bring a Kislev replay here because bear cav are so cool. Look at those Trebuchets doing so much damage to the infantry. The cav fight is going relatively evenly so far, but I think I have more high tier cav on the field as you'd expect. Bretonnia should be winning cav fights even against a very good cavalry faction in Kislev. Questing Knights, Sons of Ursun, very even fight right there. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And Grail Knights also in combat with some of his Sons of Ursun. Grail Knights are some of the best cav in the mod for sure. Amazing stats, 2 HP, very good, and they look awesome. So Gojira's in a very tough spot right now. His melee infantry and skirmishers are getting shot to pieces by my Trebuchets and Peasant Longbowmen, and a frontal assault will be met by my own men-at-arms with halberds on the hill. Most of his cavalry is tied down in combat with my own, and now his infantry line is exposed with no help of cavalry support, so Grail Knights and a unit of Knights Errant are going to wheel into position and charge straight up the center into a skirmish line. Now I am going to make a micro mistake here. I should have charged directly into the Streltsy gun line. I'm going to actually go for the Kossars instead, which is a mistake, but it's not a huge deal because I'm going to take a bunch of his skirmishers off the field, not take too many losses, because the Grail Knights with their 2 HP took that first volley, and a great shot from the Trebuchets, gonna cut right through the center of those Kreml Guard, and his general's gonna go down now. Now Kislev doesn't have morale problems, they don't mass route very often, but with that said, you still don't want to be losing your gen. That is probably gonna turn the fight in his favor, and actually some friendly fire from his own mortar there, and he does have 1 mortar on his own hill It's going to put out some damage, although there was some friendly fire there, but the fire rate of a single mortar just pales in comparison to the 8 trebuchets I have on the field. So I had a big range advantage, I had a cavalry advantage. I think that the army he's brought this battle has kind of left him in a spot that's going to make it really hard for him to win this battle. Rear charge from the Knights of the Realm into some Sons of Ursun, and you can see I've cleared up a lot of his bear cav. He has very little of it left on the field, and now I've got a bunch of free cav units. And in Medieval 2 and in Total War Attila, as you guys know, free cav at the end of a battle spells death. Balance bar shifting in my favor. I've done a ton of damage to his main line, and yep, my Grail Knights are going to wheel away from that melee engagement and go straight for the mortar. Gonna silence those guns, and once that happens, he's really gonna have no support for his cavalry fight at all. His infantry has no chance of getting up into that engagement. Big charge here. Gonna slaughter that gun crew, and things are going very well for the Knights of Bretonnia. And again, I want to say hats off to the mod team for beginning of the end times. The Bretonnian Knights look fantastic in this game, and the army plays exactly as you'd expect a Bretonnian army to play. Cav spam with good range support. And I have to say, I feel like they're one of the strongest factions in the game. I am going to actually friendly fire the crap out of my own trebuchets here, which I thought was a pretty funny mistake. Honestly, at this point in the battle, I should not be firing with my trebuchets at all. I've got way more men on the field, so I'm way more likely to hit my own troops than I am to hit Kislev troops, given how many more men I have on the field. But yeah, I mean, Bretonnia plays awesome in this mod. They're really good. I think the trebuchets probably need a little bit of a tweaking on their fire rate just to balance them out a bit, because what I did to that Kislev army as Gojira was moving up to attack the hill was kind of ridiculous. I think it was a bit overkill on how powerful those trebuchets are, so they might need a little bit of balancing. But overall, I mean, Kislev's a very strong faction as well. I think these are two of the better factions in Call of Warhammer. They really have everything you'd want from a faction. Good range, good cav, good artillery. It's really what you want in Call of Warhammer or any Total War game. Now let's shift gears just a little bit. Like I said in that video I created a couple months ago, Bretonnia is, I mean, they're clearly going to be a playable faction in Total War Warhammer. Like I said, I'd bet money they're going to be the free LC release added relatively soon after the game comes out. The biggest hints towards that have been the gorgeous screenshots of Knights of the Realm and Pegasus Knights that we saw, as well as the fact that there's an actual Bretonnia faction in the faction scroll, just like Empire, Dwarfs, Vampire, Counts, and Greenskins are the actual names of playable factions, as opposed to the sub-factions like Mousillon or the specific Greenskin tribes like the Crooked Moons. Bretonnia is an actual name of a faction. So with that said, I don't really want to disappoint people here, but I do have to be realistic, so I'm going to share my thoughts on the matter of minor factions in Total War Warhammer. I'm currently feeling like Kislev and Araby and Albion and some of these other minor races that people really like are probably never going to become playable in the trilogy, and certainly factions like Nippon and Cathay or Ind, which will be super far off the map even once the trilogy has completely expanded and become that massive campaign map. I don't think that they're going to be part of the trilogy. Now, obviously, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't predict CA's DLC or expansion plans perfectly, but they've made it really clear they want to focus on the major races first, and currently every single thing CA's done has been directly from 8th edition tabletop, which means probably no Kislev because they don't have an army book. Oh god, look at those shots coming in. I love those trebuchets. But what that means is probably no Kislev because they don't have an army book or rules for 8th edition. And I'd love to be wrong about this. I want to know what your guys' opinion on adding Kislev to the game is. Obviously, we want them in the game. Do you think they will be added to the game? And I know that I probably have quite a few Eastern European or Russian viewers, or frankly anyone who thinks Bear Cavalry is badass, which, let's be honest, is everyone. Who are going to be disappointed by the fact that Kislev might not make it in. But I do think it's important that CA gets those core army book factions done correctly first, which for now means get Vamps, Greenies, Umis, and Stunties done right first. They have to get the first game right, and then maybe once the trilogy is complete, the minor factions can get fleshed out, like Kislev, like Araby, like Albion. We'll see. We'll see how they choose to handle it. I'm very interested to see how they're going to be dealing with minor races in Total War Warhammer. They've said that Bear Cavalry is not going to be in the game for Kislev on launch, Don't blame them. They've got a lot of stuff they have to get right first. Bear Cavalry is a dream come true. I love my sweet, sweet Ursine Warriors, but yeah, CA's got a lot of stuff to do to get right before we can start worrying about Kislev or some of the other minor factions. So that's my thoughts on the minor faction debate. I know that you guys might have different perspectives on that. We'll see what CA decides to do. So that's the end of the battle, though. Bretonnia is going to take the field and crush that Kislev army. Honestly, my deployment there was just too good. This was my first battle with them. I had no idea that Trebuchets were so powerful in this mod. Being on a hill and having such a great line of sight with my longbows and Trebuchets made it really hard for Kislev, and of course, I had a big cav advantage as well. So really, I don't think there was any area in that battle that I didn't have an advantage. I think that for the Kislev army, I think Gojira probably should have spammed Streltsy and tried to skirmish me down. Maybe brought some more mortars and forced me to come to him, because halberds and longbowmen aren't going to be great in an aggressive kind of playstyle. But of course, the Bretonnia Knights will. Overall, I think both factions are really good in this mod, and they're both really awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll be bringing you some more Call of Warhammer beginning of the end times content soon.